All wings report in.
HouseDog, standing by.
Mother Goose, standing by.
Lowtech Tuck, standing by.
Lock S foils in attack position. Animal Squadron ready for battle.
Well, hello there, and welcome back to the Animal Squadron podcast. I am one of your hosts every now and again these days. It is the one, the only HouseDog, and alongside me is my trusty co-pilot. He has been for quite some time. He is the hairiest host, Mother Goose.
Hello, everybody.
And also alongside us, as we can't get rid of him, he is the parasite. These days, it seems like he is the co-pilot in the Falcon, and I guess I'm the Minoc with how much I haven't been around, but it's the one, the only Lowtech Tuck, our beloved Minoc boy.
Everyone's favorite parasite. What up, what up?
Everyone's favorite predator.
I mean, Minocs, I guess, technically are predators. They hunt down droids, so hey, I'll take it.
But listen.
Yes, that's what I was referring to.
Yep,
We've
that's
all-
what I hope you're referring to.
We've all been the Minoc at some point on this show. It's only fair.
Yeah, I like how we pass it around. It makes for good TV.
For sure. HouseDog, you want to tell everyone what we're talking about today?
I would love to. Today we are going to review Visions, which by the time this comes out, Visions will only be like 2 weeks old.
Yeah.
So we're doing pretty good these days, guys. I mean, all it took was me leaving for a month and you guys doing the podcast with each other, and Elijah brought in one of his friends for a special episode, which, by the way, that episode was awesome. I would love to have him on and talk to him, but I listened to y'all's episode. Mm-hmm. Honestly, one of my favorites we've ever done, and I wasn't even there.
Yeah, I really liked it. The vibes were good, and he said he definitely wants to come back at some point.
Yeah. I loved what he had to say about everything, and I was super involved in the conversation. I was just listening to it on my way home from work, and while I was showering, and I had it playing, and I was like, I like this guy. He makes a lot of good points, and he has a lot of interesting takes.
Yeah, he really does care about Star Wars a lot.
And it was just lightsabers. Just lightsabers. But
I know. There's
honestly,
so much
one of my
to
favorite
say.
episodes we put out.
Yeah.
Just because of your friend Joshua, right?
Yeah.
Joshua, if you're listening, I'd love to have you on because I'd really enjoy talking to you. I promise I won't bully you. Elijah may have told you stories otherwise.
Don't worry. He'll bully me and Tucker.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Are we ready to start talking about episode 1?
Yeah, I mean, we might as well just jump into it, I guess.
Great. So this one is Sith. This is the one about the former Sith apprentice and her master tracking her down.
Yes, so honestly, this first episode, it started out and it was like this super like stylistic art episode, and I'm not gonna lie, in the first like little bit I was like, this is gonna suck, like this is a terrible way to open the season. But like then I mean, that's the really challenging thing I think with these episodes as a whole, is they're all, at max like 19 minutes, and what they managed to squeeze in, and I think this goes for every episode this season, was, in my opinion, truly amazing. Because if you didn't like the first 5 minutes of the episode, the last 14 minutes of the episode had you every time. In my opinion. That's just me, though. But yeah, the first part of this one did not like the painting thing, and then it started really getting in the story, and you realize she's a former Sith, and then once the master gets there, the episode is just incredible.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, actually, this is my favorite episode of the whole
Really?
the whole series.
Okay.
So first of all, I think season 2 of Visions, we're just gonna start off hot, is better than
season 1.
I agree.
In my
agree.
opinion, a lot. I actually like it a lot better, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because like season 1, there were episodes I didn't like. I really enjoyed the season, but there were a couple episodes I just didn't really like. There's not a single episode in this season I didn't like.
Yeah, but actually the color thing, that's interesting that you didn't like that, Max. Actually, that was one of my favorite parts about it. about the
I don't
episode.
know. It was kind of just like real Dr. Seuss for me.
Yeah,
I
it was
don't know.
real. I thought it was more metaphorical and poetic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is
yeah,
kind of-
100%.
Kind of why
like,
I'm surprised that you didn't like it, because you're such a metaphorical, poetic, like romantic type personality. You know, I figured this would be your favorite.
Well, no, it was like I said at the beginning. I just wasn't super into it, and then as the, I mean, like the way that this episode was done, just the style and the way that they animated it was super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't really vibe with her character in the beginning,
Okay. Yeah.
and like what her story was like right at the beginning. But then like once the cis stuff entered, I really liked her droid. He was cool.
Oh, her droid was dope. I
Yeah.
loved that little dude. What was his name?
Oh.
E1 ED.
Yeah, all I can think of is Z1, but that's from the British episode, like episode 4. Z1 is what they call him.
Yeah,
but,
Z1.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's all I can think of, but I know that's not his name.
So while Elijah's looking up that droid's name, I'm gonna give a hot take.
Yeah, get
For
after
me,
it.
like season 1 compared to season 2, like I don't know if there will be an episode, and maybe whenever we revisit and talk about it today, that will ever be the first episode of season 1, the like lone samurai black and white.
That was cool. Yeah.
That one was a banger for me. The Master and Apprentice episode where it was like super Qui-Gon Jinn,
Oh,
young
yes, the
Obi-Wan,
Elder.
and they find the old, the Elder. That one's a banger for me. And the what's the other? The one where the dude tries to save the chick he's in love with, but accidentally like kills her and becomes a Sith.
Yes.
And it like
That's
mirrors the Anakin story like super heavily.
episode
Another
9.
banger. Yeah. Like those 3 episodes for me are just like top tier. And I don't know if there was an episode in season 2 that beat any of those for me.
Interesting.
On that note, actually, one thing I really like about season 2 of Visions is that there's more variety. It's not all just Japanese studios.
Yeah.
It's South African studios. It's Chilean studios, Spanish studios,
Yes, I thought that
British
was really
studio.
cool.
Like, I thought that was awesome. I hope they keep doing that. Like, I'd love to see, like, for instance, like a Ethiopian studio do one, or like a Swiss studio, or stuff. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Well, I
could
might be wrong, but I think whenever they first came out with, and it was either at D23 or at Star Wars Celebration, whenever Visions was announced, they said that like every season would be done by a different, like the first season was all like Japanese studios.
Yeah.
And I think they put it out whenever it was first announced, like, hey, every season that we're doing this, it's not going to be the same like area or continent doing the episodes. We're gonna pick a new one every year so that we see something new in Star Wars every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But on that note, I mean, that's why season 2 honestly changed my mind about Visions. Like season 1, I was kind of like, like I just wasn't really feeling it. But also, to be fair, I'm biased. I've never really been an anime person or someone who's really enjoyed stuff written in Japanese translated to English. Like, it just doesn't work as well for me. I just don't like it as much.
Right.
So
right.
I really, really enjoyed getting to see other countries represented, and I hope they keep doing it, which it sounds like they will. So
Yes, from what I could be wrong, but I think season 3 has already been confirmed, or at least rumored at.
yeah,
So my thoughts on this episode, this is, I think, my favorite episode artistically, and my least favorite episode story-wise.
Interesting.
care to expand?
I still really like this episode, but I just felt like its story wasn't as strong as the others.
I think I agree with you as well. It was a good message, and it was cool and everything that like she figured out that like the artwork, which really represented her,
Right.
was you have to embrace the dark and the light, and that's the the true meaning of the Force is that's balance. Is there can be no light without darkness, and you got to have both of them inside of you to have balance. I mean, that's that's what the whole Force is based on. So maybe that's why Tuck enjoyed it so much.
That's exactly why, pretty much. It's just... Yeah, I mean, that's it. And honestly, that's what I think Star Wars... I mean, the whole, like, prophecy in Star Wars, like, the main prophecy as far as Anakin goes, I mean, that's why I think that's so important, that storyline, because it proves that. The light and the dark are both part of the Force and are both important.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I really like what they did with the lightsabers specifically. I don't know, just the like individual lines that were coming off it. I don't know how to describe it best, but I just thought it gave such a cool look to the lightsabers.
Yeah, they almost have like that unstable crystal crackle kind of look. Which I thought was cool.
That's a great way to describe it.
Well, her lightsaber was sick too. Like whenever she ignited that second blade, whenever she's having that inner monologue and she's like, I'm the light and the dark. And then she ignites the red blade along with her yellow blade. I was like, all right, that's pretty sick. And the Sith was really cool too. He was interesting.
Yeah. No, he reminded me a lot of...
was it Malik?
Yes, thank you, Mac. That's exactly who I was thinking of.
Yeah,
all I could think of in my mind was Darth Bane, and I was like, that's not right. I know that's not right, but thanks for thinking of it for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you guys ready to move on to the next episode?
I think so. I mean, that's all really about the first...
Yeah.
I mean, like I said before, I think first episode of first season was better than first episode of second season. At least in my own opinion, for me. For me, it was... I'll still take season 1, episode 1 over season 2, episode 1.
Gotcha.
Fair enough.
All right, this next one is Screecher's Reach. This is the one where the girl leaves where she's working and they go investigate a cave.
Dude, this episode was wild, man.
Yeah, I agree.
That's when I knew season 2 was going to be crazy, because they went from that first episode to this one, and this one was like, it creeped me out. Like, this one was scary, in all honesty. Like, I'm glad I watched it with the lights on, because it was creepy.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about it.
Honestly, as far as the studios go, I was playing a game with myself, like, while watching all these. I would try to guess, like, where the studio was from.
Okay.
And as far as, like, their clothing, the rocky terrain, the legendary monster, and all of that stuff, originally I had guessed that it was maybe the South African one, but probably a European one. I was like, it's probably Europe, maybe even Northern Europe, and it ended up being Ireland.
Nice.
And,
you couldn't tell by the way they talked?
Well, I mean, a little bit, but I was trying more to just kind of...
They were Irish as hell, bro.
They could have been Scottish, you don't know.
Yeah, that's honestly...
Or Welsh.
I was like, these people are either Irish or Scottish.
Yeah.
Because... And I really liked it, because it was nice to hear a completely different accent than what we usually hear in Star Wars. I mean, anyway,
agree.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should talk about the Banshee, the Sith Banshee with the lightsaber. That was
cool.
such a
Yeah.
cool way to portray a Sith.
Yeah, like, what happened to her?
Yeah.
And I was... a thing popped up the other day, and I read it, and it was like an old EU thing about this, I think it was in the Old Republic, like this Sith found this way to live forever, but it turned him into like this, like half man, half creature, and this other Sith found this planet and found his old text, but didn't know it was his old text, that he had found this like secret to immortality or whatever, because that's what Sith do.
Right.
And so she followed all the text and everything and performed the ritual, and it ended up freeing him from being a half creature and giving him mortality, and she became the like pet, because whenever she found him on this planet, he, like I said, he was like this weird creature thing, and she like used him as a pet, but he basically just laid the trap for someone to find.
That's sick. Okay.
And so like I saw that episode, then I had read that before, and then I saw this episode, and I was like, what happened to this Sith? Like, were they trying to find the path to immortality and suddenly became like this creature that is a urban legend for these Irish Star Wars people?
Yeah.
Yeah. That, or what if it's I mean, speaking of dark side and Sith, what if it's magic, force magic,
No,
which is dark side?
I don't know about that. I think it was, maybe this Sith just got like outcasted or something bad happened to them, and they just, kind of like a Smeagol Gollum situation.
Well, clearly,
that's honestly kind of what it's like, right?
Yeah, it gave me those
Similar.
vibes. But clearly the Sith wanted her dead. That's the whole point of this episode, is this girl has this necklace that she keeps talking to. And what did you guys think about the necklace? Did it stick out to you, or?
Was it supposed to?
It stuck
Yeah,
out to me.
I would say,
I don't know.
especially with what happens at the end, it stuck out. But from what I thought while watching it, I saw the necklace and I thought maybe that it was just something that was important to her, like maybe given to her by her mother or a relative, or I thought she was almost just kind of like praying to the necklace. I didn't really realize until the end that she was literally talking, like it's a communicator, of some kind. Yeah,
I knew it was. I didn't know it was a communicator, but I knew it was going to be important in some way.
I did too, but I thought it would be more, metaphorical or sentimental kind of importance rather than literal importance. Yeah.
That's what I had the same thought. I was like, part of me had the same thought that it was like maybe a necklace from her mother, or maybe it's like an old Jedi relic, and she like found maybe some old Jedi texts or something on this planet where they're basically like forced into slavery or whatever in this factory that they work in all day long, because she keeps asking for strength and courage.
Right.
And then, the end happens and it's like, yo, what's going on here? And the fact that it's a communicator with this weird being that comes down from the sky that's been grooming this child to, I guess, become a Sith?
Sith, yeah. That's the vibes I got.
Wait, so you're telling me that the owl force user wasn't normal? Like, you guys didn't think that was just totally fine?
I mean, the entire red aesthetic and the way she was talking, this thing is definitely evil.
Yeah.
Good and evil are just points of view, my friend.
You're a point of view.
Well, honestly, what I thought, I didn't necessarily think it was evil. Reason being is, if it was evil, why would it like come to her aid after she passes the test and is like, oh, hey, everything's cool, I'm gonna take care of you? Like, it just, I don't know.
To me,
I didn't
it was
really get
more
an
like,
evil vibe.
you passed my test, apprentice.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of gives off that vibe, but then you think back to like the Mortis trilogy and Clone Wars, and the brother and brother, sister, and father, like brother, and they say it like so many times throughout that arc. He's not inherently evil. He just has a tendency to go to the dark side. Then whenever he accidentally murders his sister with the sword, like he's heartbroken, and he visits his sister's grave in like the last episode, and he's like, you were the only thing I truly loved.
Yeah.
Well, and also, I don't really think that Sith are necessarily bad either. On that
Actually,
note, like,
dark
with what
side
Max
equals
said.
evil, light side equals good all the time.
Oh, yeah? Tell me again how you think the Jedi are evil? Go ahead.
I agree.
Well, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Then this podcast really is lost.
So I've got two more things I want to talk about. One, the animation style. I loved it.
Very
Loved
cool.
The animation
It
style
reminded
this
me
one.
of Elijah. You probably know the game where they have like different like expansion packs, and like one of them is like Edgar Allan Poe. Is it called Don't Starve?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's what it kind of
Yes.
reminded me of.
Yeah, I can see that. Also, before I forget, the droid's name was E2. I found it almost immediately and forgot to say something from episode 1.
It's okay.
all
Continue your
good.
thoughts about this episode before I interrupt you again.
Oh, the family the like found family dynamic. Sorry, the kids I really liked.
Dude.
They all clearly really cared about each other.
Whenever the little purple thing is like literally crying in the big dude's arms, and like he's just like, are you really gonna go? you know, like they're not talking at this point, but like you can tell by the look on his face, he's like, wow, you're really just going to abandon us for like this person that you don't really know.
So the two little kids, I got that vibe. The older guy, what I got was understanding. Like, I'm sad that you're leaving, but I understand that you want to leave, and so go.
Yeah, I think honestly the older guy, he's the only one old enough to realize how terrible their life really is.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
the kind of the way I read it was like, you know, yeah, because their conversation at the fireside, whenever he was like, you know, if you ever got a chance to leave, don't ever look back. But then when they're all standing there, like, he really looks betrayed. And then at the end of the episode, she looks back. And I'm just like, you couldn't even do what he told you to do. Like, you chose this, you know, creature over your family, you know, your found family. And then you couldn't even do the one thing that he told you to do because he told you never to look back.
And I think the betrayal look on his face, I think that more comes from like, and this is again kind of projecting on it. There's nothing said about this directly, but I almost think that he always said this stuff to her at the campfire. Always was just like, if you ever leave, don't turn back, just leave. But I think deep down, he always thought that she would take him with her.
Yeah.
And then when she doesn't, I think that breaks his heart because he realizes that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just for everybody to interpret in their own way.
Maybe. Yeah.
It's
You know what I
like,
mean?
I think the whole
That's
episode's one of those things where they on purpose don't explain it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it's for everyone to project their own feelings onto and feel however they want to about it.
Yeah, because, I mean, just this last couple minutes, we've had several, like, oh, I don't agree with that. Here's how I see it. And I think that's exactly what this episode wanted to do.
I think it's for you to project your own traumas about your family into it.
Yeah.
You're a trauma.
Just about.
Well, we have anything else, or are we ready to go to the next one?
I want to know more about the Sith creature, though.
Oh, the Banshee?
Like, what happened to her? Why was she like that?
Okay, so after the cave collapsed and she died, we saw a little bit more of her cage. Or not cage, cave. It looked like, I mean, she had a sleeping area. You know, she had stuff organized. I don't think she was this crazy creature all the time. I think she was, you know, she just got aggressive because somebody literally walked into her house. I would do the same thing.
Yeah, I almost wonder too, actually this is just kind of a off the top theory. I haven't been thinking this for a while. This is definitely just off the top of my head. But you know how there's a dark side power called Force Rage?
Mm-hmm.
What if the Banshee thing is part of sort of a Force Rage kind of thing where she only turns into that temporarily?
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of thought, like, you know, like we mentioned earlier, like the Smeagol Golem thing. Like, what if this, you know, Banshee has been by itself for so long that it's, like, become crazy, but, like, it doesn't attack her immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Just watches
you know what I
for
mean?
a long time.
Like, it watches her for a long time, and Elijah's already mentioned, like, it's obviously somewhat civilized or remembers part of what it used to be because, you know, it has, like, this room inside the cave, and it has this collection of objects and stuff like that, and, you know, just different stuff set up everywhere. Like, I'm almost thinking, like, what if it was just scared?
Yeah.
And, like, it could sense that she was force sensitive, and so that scared her because she thought, you know, she might be a Jedi.
Or
Yeah, well, and that's why I brought up the Force Rage thing. Maybe she was so scared she turned into the monster that she
And then
could
she
turn
wasn't
into.
trying to kill the kid. She was trying to, like, tell her, like, I need help, and then the kid just struck her down.
Or she could sense the murderous intent. Because in the moment when you're watching it, you don't know that she went to kill this Banshee creature.
Yeah, the Screecher.
I forgot
Yeah.
about that she's, like, on a mission the whole time, actually.
Yeah, so I personally think she could sense the murderous intent and was trying to scare her away.
And then the kid cut her down in cold blood.
Yeah.
Well, and also that makes sense too. Like, I guess no matter what, like, I think it's definitely, there's enough evidence present to say that it's probably not a always predatory and aggressive creature.
Yeah, I agree.
I think no matter what, I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah,
and so yeah,
for sure.
maybe it is the murderous intent, or maybe she just wants to be left alone. And because it's been a legend long enough, clearly in the episode, maybe it's that she does that to everyone just because she wants to be left alone.
Maybe that's
she's
how
being
she says hi
chased.
in her language.
Yeah, Europeans kiss people on the cheek, and banshees just scream. Yeah, great.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, so quick question before we move on to the next one. How many times have you guys watched season 2?
Once.
Once.
Me too.
I thought about watching it a second time before we reviewed it, but I just didn't get around to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
me
watched
either.
it once last weekend, so it's been
Yeah.
a week.
Yeah, same. So
Are we ready for episode 3?
I'm ready.
I'm
All
good.
right.
Yep.
This is In the Stars. This is the one about the two sisters that are trying to get some water from an imperial plant.
Dude, such a cool episode. Like the whole
Yeah.
claymation thing.
Yes.
Yep.
Super
I was
cool.
really happy with the claymation. I thought we were just getting one claymation episode, and the fact we got 3 made me so happy.
Actually, y'all go ahead and guess where this one's from. The studio.
It's
I
got to be like African.
You think it's South African, that one?
I don't know about African in general.
Well, that was one of the options listed was South African.
Okay,
that's why I was
so
throwing
like
that up
I'm gonna say South African or like Chilean. Was Chilean an option?
Oh, dude, you got it. Dadgummit.
Yeah.
I thought you'd never guess Chilean.
Never test me, son.
Yep, I was hoping you'd never get it. But yeah, no, it is Chilean. I thought it was South African too. That's funny you brought that up. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, wait, nope. That's another friend close to the South Pole. It's Chile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this episode was really good. The story was good. The claymation just looked absolutely phenomenal. I think my only complaint was the little kid, the voice actor, wasn't my favorite. But at the same time, sometimes little kids have annoying voices or high-pitched voices, and so it didn't bother me too much. Does that make sense?
And that was who her character was supposed to be, the annoying little sister.
Yeah, exactly.
You know who her voice reminded me a lot of was Lilo.
From Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah.
No, from Lilo and Mitch,
You're Lilo and Mitch.
the European version.
Listen, you cannot tell me there's not another character named Lilo somewhere in a different show.
Okay,
I
but for
don't-
the era that we grew up in, there, you would associate it
Listen.
with another show that we all
Listen.
watched.
Better not to assume.
I'm back, baby. I'm back.
I really liked, so story-wise, just the fact that like their entire people had been wiped out by the Empire, and it was literally just them trying to survive together.
Oh, was that the vibe? I thought it was more that just their mom and their family died.
No, the whole planet had been wiped out by the Empire. That gets told whenever she's doing the little star painting
Well,
and it animates everything.
Yeah, I thought that was about their family. No, that's
don't-
about the entire planet. I
I don't know if it
realize
was
that.
the whole planet, but
their
at least
village.
their entire village, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All of their friends and family gone.
Wiped out.
I really
That's
like how
sad.
they like just referred to the Force as their mom's power. Mm-hmm. It like they knew about the Force, but they didn't know much, and so I just thought that was a good way to convey that.
Yeah, it was like a super raw version of the Force. Mm-hmm. In its like most plain sensibilities. And I really like that you brought that up because that was one of my favorite things too, is that it was never called the Force. It was never alluded to. It was just about these two sisters and the strength that their mother had, and they knew that it came from, you know, each other and the strength that you need from your family.
Yeah. And I like too how it was the Force was utilitarian to them. Like there was
Yeah.
no Jedi or Sith.
It was
It was
just
just like our mom has magic powers and we have magic powers. Mm-hmm. And that's
Yeah,
it.
if we like believe in
Yeah.
each other hard enough in ourselves, like we can harness this power and use it for good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one too.
Or what? Yeah, it's like you said, utilitarian. I think that's the best way to describe it. Honestly,
it's just a tool.
There was no good or bad way to use this tool. It was just a tool to use.
Yeah.
And it was like always used inherently for good.
Yeah. Like it's what what makes our family special, but it's our responsibility to use it for the village and use it for each other and use it for our community, which was really cool, I thought.
I really love that moment at the end where they reach out with the Force and you, what is it, an ATST that's in front of them?
Yeah.
Like you think they're trying to pull it down, and then you get a really wide shot and it reveals that they're actually pulling down the water.
Oh yeah,
I loved that.
That was a good one. Very good point, sir.
Thank you.
Also, as far as the animation style, one thing I love is that, especially in claymation type movies, there's just this way that usually they will paint the night sky.
Yeah.
And it's almost realistic, but it's not.
Yeah.
Maybe Elijah can expand on that, because you actually know media stuff, but like I love the way that looks.
Tell us why the magic happens in the great sky, Elijah.
Yeah, it looks so magical. I really like it. And
Explain to us why the bright stars look so real when the people are made out of Play-Doh.
Here's the thing. I know that I'm stupid. All right. So
no
that's why I
need to
count
put
on
yourself
Elijah.
down, Tucker. No, I don't know exactly how they filmed that. I've got a couple ideas. Like they could have used like lights of some kind, especially if you get something you can turn on and off, you can kind of get a shimmering effect. But I'm not entirely sure what they did here. But I loved it because we don't really see the night sky. It's all under these clouds until after they pull the water down and the factory's destroyed and they get to see the stars and they get to feel like their mom's looking down at them again. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just very powerful.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Go ahead, buddy.
I was just saying that one other note is like, I guess what I had thought about, like, as far as the night sky I was describing, is like, it almost looks like a matte paint on like, a semi-round concave kind of structure.
Object.
Yeah.
That's almost what it looks like.
Yeah.
But
It might have been a dome.
Yeah. But just I don't know.
Yeah, my comment has no real relevance besides the fact that, like, anytime I see claymation, all I can think of is the movie Chicken Run.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy.
And speaking of night sky, I'm pretty sure there's, like, a pretty amazing night sky in Chicken Run.
Yeah, there is. Or my favorite
And Wallace
one,
and Gromit.
My favorite one is, if our viewers have never watched Coraline, like, that's all right. But there's a scene in there, especially when she goes out in the night garden.
Yeah.
And there's like a really, really beautiful night sky. And that's kind of what it reminded me of.
Dude, Coraline's so creepy.
It is, but that specific scene is probably my favorite version of like a artistic night sky.
That's like one of my wife's number one Halloween movies to watch. It's not really like a Halloween movie, but like
I enjoy it.
That's one of her first picks during the Halloween season is Coraline. And that movie creeps me out so bad.
Oh yeah, no, it's
You don't like the
definitely
button
creepy, but
eyes?
it's a solid claymation movie. I mean, if you just think about all the work that went into it, it's amazing.
How is claymation so scary? Why is Play-Doh scary? Elijah, explain to me why Play-Doh's scary, but Play-Doh
me
make
no like-
pretty sky.
Me no like Play-Doh,
Explain.
but me like Chicken Run.
Explain why Chicken Run not scary, but Coraline Play-Doh scary. But both have pretty night sky.
I really think it goes into the like almost robotic nature of their movements. Not that they are robotic, but I mean, the way they film it, it's just little by little, frame by frame, and I just think there's something really special about how much work and effort goes into it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, one thing I was thinking about is, this is a recent fact I've learned, but humans only see, like, somewhere around 20 frames a second.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, TV oftentimes, that's what they film stuff in and also project it out so that people can watch it is somewhere around 20 frames a second. And
at 24 frames per second, that matches the natural motion blur that like we see with our eyes day to day.
yeah, and what's crazy to me is that, like, so if you do that math, like, so claymation, they have to be trying to hit about 20 frames a second. And when you think about a 20-minute episode, I mean, that's wild. Like, how many frames that was, how many, I mean, just to, and for y'all who can't see, like, I'm waving, like you'd like wave to somebody. Like, think about how long this would take. Like 3 seconds of me waving my hand.
That's is crazy. Thousands of individual pictures taken. It is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, are we ready to move on to our next one?
Maybe just like one. Why do you think like? I don't think there's a person out there that like doesn't have some type of like favorite claymation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My wife, actually, she hates claymation.
Dude, that's weird because it's such an interesting medium, and like,
Yeah.
for me, it just like it feels so, I don't know, like comfortable.
Yeah, I love claymation. Like, honestly, I like some of my favorite childhood movies ever are Chicken Run, Wallace and Gromit, that kind of stuff. I love it. I'm really into it. But.
Yeah. Well, we found the person.
Yep, there's one person on Earth who hates claymation, and I'm married to her.
Sorry, she's never allowed on the podcast again. Banished.
Well, she's gone. Goodbye. She said to us.
All right, next is episode 4, I Am Your Mother, another claymation episode where we've got a New Republic recruit in a racing contest, a parent racing contest.
Well,
So,
speaking
I
of
gotta
claymation,
I gotta be honest. After you guys watched this episode, did you like have a little bit of guilt of how you treated like your parents growing up? Like after I watched this episode, I wanted to call my mom and dad and be like, "Hey, I love you guys, and I'm really sorry for how I treated you when I was younger.
yeah,
And
like
just know that I love you a whole lot, and I'm so glad that you're my parents." Like this episode hurt, but in like such a good way.
Yeah,
I
there
thought I was
specific
gonna hate
times-
it, but then it honestly wound up being one of my favorite episodes of the season.
You know the like abusive mom stereotype on TV where, you know, she yells, "I am your mother. You will respect me." Like based on the title, I thought those were the vibes we were going to get, and it was completely different, and I'm so happy it was.
It was more of, I am your mother and I love you.
Yeah.
And like, yes, I'm embarrassing, but we're in this together, kid. Like, I like that.
I'm embarrassing, and that's a parent's job, is to be embarrassing.
Yeah, and on that note too, like, and also what a great time for Visions to come out, because Mother's Day is on Sunday.
Yeah,
And
for
for
sure.
our viewers listening, wish your mom a happy Mother's Day.
Yes.
And I mean, it's just, it really fits in well, I think.
Actually, this episode will come out after Mother's Day, but you know, if you forgot, it's not too late. It's not too
That's
late.
right.
Just hit him that text back.
Yep, buy those flowers, big dog. It's all good.
Maybe buy
Your
some
mom will
extra
appreciate
flowers
it.
if you forgot.
Yep. Your mom will appreciate it. Yep.
Yeah, no. So I read the what's it called? Like the synopsis of the episode before I watched it, and I saw that it was like, you know, a family race between a mother and daughter or whatever, and I was like, this is gonna suck. Like this is gonna be trash. And then, like I said a minute ago, one of my favorite episodes, because like honestly, it just made me so like, for real. I just wanted to call my mom and be like, "Hey, I love you. You're the best mom in the world."
Yeah. Yeah, I had the
Yeah.
same thing. Like, honestly, the only reason that I was willing to watch it is Elijah had told me that it's actually the same studio that does Chicken Run and Wallace and Gromit. They got picked
Yeah.
to do the episode, and so I was like, well, what the heck? I'll give it a try. And yeah, like Max said, I really enjoyed it, and yeah, it honestly made me love my mother more.
Yeah.
These 20 minutes right here. Yep.
So talking about Wallace and Gromit, there's do you guys remember the like walking fridge thing?
No.
Well, it's one of their original characters. He's in the background of this episode, just kind of chilling.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, I didn't notice it until somebody online pointed it out, and I was like, oh, that's a great little Easter egg.
Yeah, Wallace and Gromit, admittedly, as a kid and also as an adult, the only Wallace and Gromit thing I've ever seen was their Halloween special, the Franken
Were Bunny or Franken
Yeah, the Were
Bunny?
Bunny.
Yeah.
That was the
That was a
only
good
like that's
one.
the only Wallace and Gromit I've ever seen.
You should look into some of their other stuff. It's really good. I don't think I've seen all of it, but I've really enjoyed everything I have seen.
Yeah. Cheese, Gromit.
Cheese, Gromit. It's cheese.
It's cheese.
I don't know. Do we have any other thoughts on this episode?
It's time to commit a felony, Gromit. Like, isn't that the thing? Like, isn't Wallace and Gromit kind of like Mr. Bean?
Kind
Like, in a
of.
way?
I see the similarities.
Or like
yeah.
Pink Panther, you know, where like he's
Yeah.
just kind of like a bumbling idiot, but like the situation always works out for him.
Yeah.
And he's also he's also the law too. So like he's in charge of taking care of it, but he's also dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the same thing.
No, it's just such a good episode. Like, it was just such a heartwarming episode.
It
I
really
loved it.
was. It-
If I was
it
gonna rewatch another one of these episodes of season 2, it'd be that one.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
such a simple story. Like, really, not a lot happened. She has a race. You know, she doesn't want to tell her mom there. Her mom ends up there. They win the race. But, like, it's so powerful.
Yeah, because like her mom's like this working class mom that like always tried to like give her daughter the best, but like
Yeah.
it just kind of always screws up. But you know the mom's trying really hard, and the daughter knows it, but like she's also kind of embarrassed because they don't have the best stuff and whatnot. And like,
Right.
I think everybody at some point in their life can relate to this story of like, you know, your parents are trying really hard, and I think you appreciate it more as you get older.
Yeah.
Which is the weird thing that like we're watching these cartoons, you know, in our mid-20s, and you just like realize all these things, and you think back to like little moments in your life, and you're like, oh man, my parents were trying really hard, and like they were just trying to give me the best that they could, and I was embarrassed of this thing that didn't really matter now because, you know, now I'm in my mid-20s, and who cares about this one instance? But at the time, like, I felt like a loser or whatever because this is what I had and this is what everyone else had.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
Yeah.
you watch this stupid animated claymation episode of Star Wars and you're just like, my parents were just trying to do their best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why am I such a garbage person?
It really is very, very good episode. One of my favorites. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's definitely up there.
Yeah.
Oh, banger for season 2.
For sure. All right, are we ready to move on to the next episode?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, this episode 5, Journey to the Dark Head. This is the one about this like other force group that has these statues that can help prevent the future, and this girl thinks if they cut off the dark side head, they'll have a chance to win the war.
Oh,
Dope
yeah.
episode where they're all just like,
episode.
they're just seers. Like they don't, like, they're not a part of the light side or the dark side. They just see the future and they just prophesy, but yet they don't share the prophecy with anyone else.
Yeah, they just kind of keep it to themselves.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, this might happen in the future sometime, maybe.
Yeah.
Also, this episode reminded me a lot of season 1.
Yeah, I
I was
think
like,
this
yeah,
was
I
the
was like, this
Japanese
episode would
studio.
have fit well in those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and not just because it was Japanese, but also because of the story. I really think that like the seers and the two heads, and also the animation style, obviously, but just the way that it was shot and the story, I think that would have fit in really well in season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally could have been a season 1 episode with the whole storyline of the young Jedi, like, teetering on the edge of darkness, but trying to control it, but not knowing how, and just being so, like, torn up inside that he can barely deal with everyday life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, like
yeah.
Max said earlier about season 1, how season 1 really carefully parallels the Star Wars movies. Whereas like season 2, I feel like they took some more liberties, which I'm fine with, but that's another way that I guess I think it could have easily been in season 1 because there's so many parallels there too.
What was that damn episode 1 episode where it was Mega Man or
Toby?
whatever, or Astro Boy?
Toby.
I hate Toby.
Toby!
Screw Toby.
Love Toby.
Screw Toby. I hope that episode never sees the light of day again. And burns.
Droids are sentient. Give them the Force. No, I really like this episode. I think one of my favorite moments was at the end when they're fighting and the clouds start to clear up and you realize and see that both heads have red and blue, both light and dark within them.
Yep.
That was so cool.
That was the moment, because I mean, like, I honestly didn't even see it coming.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Like,
Me
that
neither.
was
I thought
kind
it
of
was just kind of a standard thing.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming for that part of the plot. Like, it was a really cool way, again, to show that, like, the Force is all about balance. Like, this is the lesson every time, no matter what the story is, the Force is about balance. And to think that you can completely destroy the dark and still have the light is, you know, what's that line? That
Vanity?
That Luke says in The Last Jedi about vanity. I mean, you know, everybody hates that movie so much, but I think that's one of the best lines in Star Wars.
It is a
What does
good
he say
line.
exactly doesn't he say, like, to think that the Force belongs only to the Jedi is vanity?
Something like that, yeah. Or maybe something along the lines is to think the Force wouldn't go on without the Jedi is vanity. Maybe.
Yeah, just somewhere around there. I mean, and that's why I'm really glad J.J. Abrams didn't do episode 8. And I think that's why episode 8 is the best one out of the sequel trilogy, is because, I mean, just a line like that from Luke of all people is just so powerful. And it obviously echoes throughout Star Wars, because here it is again in animation. And I mean, oh man, I had to work the sequel. I had to work The Last Jedi in here somehow. I already had Clone Wars references earlier.
Yeah, I totally remember that.
I do everything I can to work my way into everything. I'm back.
Do we have anything else
instead
on
of
this
a
episode?
Minoc, you're more like a space worm in that way. Just come out of nowhere.
I really liked the villain of this one. He seemed like he actually obviously he just wanted this kid as an apprentice, but it did almost come across like he cared about him.
Kind of, yeah. It was interesting too, because like I didn't think that he would be a human. I thought he was gonna. I thought it was a robot there for a while, or maybe not like a robot, but definitely not a human. I didn't expect that when he took off the mask.
Yeah. I wasn't sure either, but I still liked it.
And his lightsaber was crazy. It had like a whole chain whip thing.
Yeah, almost like a thing you could throw out to like catch you, snag you.
Yeah, for sure.
Another new lightsaber. Boom.
We always love new lightsabers. All right. Anything else on this one?
Yeah, just one last thing. The ending of that episode. Does the young Jedi leave the temple to travel the stars with this other chick who has now kind of found her own way in the universe?
Maybe. It's not the vibe I got, but I might have missed something.
I don't know. It was just an idea because, I mean, you know, they're kind of just not flirting, but I guess just teasing each other at the end of the episode. And they're like,
oh, yeah.
You know, talking about more adventures. And he's like, well, as long as you're not the pilot. And she was like, well, you're not really a Jedi or whatever. And so I kind of thought like, oh, this would be like an interesting show to see just them go on more adventures.
I think
it
I'd
kind
like
of was
that,
like they're riding off into the sunset kind of moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they've both left these, you know, ideals that they were raised in to go serve the greater good in the way that they found best, because they've been through this monumentous task and journey that they were so, you know, narrow-minded and focused on, and they've realized, oh, we were completely wrong about our journey, and it's really about the greater good and how you need the bad with the good, and now we're gonna go do that across the galaxy with each other
Yeah.
instead of with these two super narrow-minded orders.
Yeah. Tuck, you got anything else, my man?
Not really.
All right. Next is the Spy Dancer. I'm not going to lie. This one was actually my favorite. This is the one with essentially exactly what it says. It's about a spy that puts on a dance show to spy on Imperial stormtroopers trying to relax after a hard day of work.
Oh yeah. Okay.
This
I
was
did not
my
expect to enjoy this
favorite.
one.
Yeah, same.
Did not expect to enjoy this one. But as it went on, especially at the end, it got me. I was like, I finished the episode and I was like, I enjoyed that. That was good.
So
I'll have another.
Let's just talk about it. The fact that this Imperial, like, she goes to kill him because she thinks it's the man who stole her son, and then stops as she realizes it's her son.
Yeah, that was a big twist. That was probably the biggest twist of the whole season.
I was really curious because we don't get the reveal that that's her son till much later. So I was on the edge of my seat, like, what's going on? What does she know that we as an audience don't know? And that reveal hit really hard.
Yeah, because you can tell that mid-fight she starts taking it easy on him.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the heck? Like, why don't you just kill him? And then,
right.
and that reveals, it was a really cool reveal.
Yeah, I didn't foresee that, like, him being her son until, like, it was revealed to us as an audience.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
either.
me neither. Had no idea.
It was a good twist.
Because the way that they phrase everything and the flashbacks and stuff, I mean, you're confident that her son is dead.
Yeah.
Confident.
I didn't think he was dead. I just thought he was not
taken away forever.
I didn't see him being the son.
Right. I
Yeah,
agree.
sure.
Yeah.
And, like, the fact that he covers an eye patch to hide that he has different colored eyes, and the fact that they cut his horns off.
Yeah, that they, like, shaved down his horns.
Yeah. So something I loved about this season is of course not every episodes, but the episodes we got on the Imperials and the Empire really showed just how cruel these people were. And that was part of it, was him, like, this child being taken away from his mother on one hand, and then the fact that they literally shaved down a physical part of his body to hide that he's an alien on the other. Like, these are cruel, evil people.
Yeah.
Well, this season was also interesting, the fact that, like, every episode was about family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Besides the season opener.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But also, I mean, that is, over the past few years, that's what Star Wars has really been pushing.
Yeah. And I think Star Wars is a part of found family, and family has always been a huge part of Star Wars from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
but they're really concentrating on it right now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm
sure.
saying. Is
Yeah.
like, that was, like, the main theme of this season, which was kind of different and interesting to me. Like I said, besides that first episode where it's literally just about a chick realizing she needs the dark and the light in her life, and that's who she is.
Yeah, but even the robot is found family, kind of, to her.
Yeah. Good old E2.
Yep.
I didn't think I'd like from the trailer, I thought this was going to be my least favorite of the animation styles. When I just saw clips of it, I didn't really enjoy it, but watching the episode as a whole, I really enjoyed the animation style.
Yeah, the super basic stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Where they were more like blobs rather than stormtroopers, but you could look at it and you're like, I know that's a stormtrooper. Mm-hmm. Very simple, but sometimes simple just works better.
And I think it really, like, the simplistic nature of it really helped them do more.
Sell, like, the grandiose picture of, like, her
show.
Yeah, her show.
Yeah.
Like, the simplicity of the animation made her show seem so large, which is what it was all about.
Because the animation was a little less detailed, that means they could do more in terms of movement and stuff, because the less you have to animate, the more time you have to actually work on the animation. Like, Legend of Korra, like, the first season, compared to Avatar: The Last Airbending, the bending does not look nearly as good. And that's why, because they wanted to do more detailed clothing, more detailed characters, which means they had to spend more time animating those things, which meant they had less time to animate the fight scenes and stuff like that. And so, I don't know. I just think they did really well with the movement on the characters in this one.
Yeah.
Anything else, my friends?
No, I mean, these episodes are just really easy to sum up, honestly. There's nothing... They all kind of end with the same theme, or they have all kind of the same idea. It's not like season 1 where everything was just kind of...
So different.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Every episode was vastly different from the next for the most part.
I'm pretty sure it seems like they planned it. Because it's
yeah,
so
like
connected.
every studio worked together. Like this season was way more like, hey, this is the overarching theme we're going for this season. Like when season 1 was, you know, the first episode, and then all of a sudden you have Bohemian Rhapsody. Or not Bohemian Rhapsody,
Tatooine Rhapsody.
Tatooine
best
Rhapsody.
episode.
Elijah's favorite episode.
Yeah, no, this season just they killed it.
Yeah. On Mac's note, actually, I wonder if Star Wars actually went to the studios and were like, you know, we're approving your application to be in Vision Season 2, but here's a theme that you must follow.
Yeah, I'm guessing
I wonder
it was,
if there's something, like, if it's a contract thing.
It was probably someone in Lucasfilm saying, family's the theme of this season, instead of, you know, the studios just all reaching out and talking to each other. Yeah. Also, Tuck, this one,
yes.
Where was it animated? The Spy Dancer.
I'm gonna have to look.
Okay.
But I want to say this is the South African one. No, it's not the South African one. I lie.
Gotcha.
We already passed the South African one.
No, we haven't.
We have not.
Ooh, interesting.
While you're looking it up, I'll get us started on the next episode. This is episode 7.
And what's it called again?
The Spy Dancer.
The Spy.
So this is the Bandits of Golak. This is about the brother and sisters. They're on a train.
Yes, the Indian one.
Yeah, and the sister has the Force.
Wait, how do you know it's Indian?
Oh, that's just me racial profiling. Besides the fact that everybody in the episode is Indian.
Nah, I'm just playing.
Now, this one was also really good. I really like the animation style. Kind of reminded me of Clone Wars a little bit.
Yeah, dude, who knew that an Indian Inquisitor could be such a badass?
He looked so cool. He looked so good.
I was gonna say one thing I actually really liked was the use of, well, and I guess, you know, what else would you expect from Visions, but I felt like a lot of the other studios would go with more like American Star Wars style music.
Yeah.
Right? But the music in this one was very Indian.
Yeah.
And I liked that. That was a nice touch. And then also like all
really
the
good.
All the colors, because like I know like
Indians are really colorful.
No, what I'm saying is that like, especially like the way that traditionally they dress and their art style and that kind of stuff is similar to, like, for instance, a lot of Hispanic countries have very, very bright colors everywhere. Mm-hmm. You know, and I liked that use of that in their animation style. I thought that was cool. Yeah.
I agree. Mm-hmm. I really liked, like we've been talking about, the story of family here. You know, it's a brother, an older brother taking care of his little sister. You know, he knows that she has the Force and that obviously she can't use it or else the stormtroopers will come after her. But she's not quite old enough to understand that yet. So I really like that dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah, she's just not old enough to know better.
Yeah.
So I totally figured out the old lady was going to be a Jedi before it happened. Anybody else?
Did you really?
Well,
I had no idea.
To be fair, she was in the trailer.
I didn't see the trailer for Visions.
Okay.
I was going to say, I explained to Elijah, I don't watch trailers. I like to just have a fresh experience.
Probably
So I
for
had
the
no idea.
best, because I knew the second I saw her it was the old lady from the trailer. So that's on me for watching it.
No, I didn't see the trailer for Visions.
Well, so I mean, what did you think of that? The twist that she was a Jedi.
I don't know. I kind of saw it coming whenever they first showed up at the end to that little market village type thing.
Yeah.
And like she was just watching over them. I was like, she's either gonna help him or save him somehow. And then the brother like mentions that there's somebody here that can help them, and like she's kind of like her, or whatever. She'll understand her.
Yeah.
And then you get the old woman watching over them like super heavily, and like she's the one in charge of the market, kind of like Maz in the sequels.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this lady's probably a Jedi or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also, speaking of this episode and the vibes you got, I got, as far as the hiding underneath the water feature and the stone puzzle kind of thing to be able to get down there, I almost got like ancient Star Wars culture kind of vibe, like sort of, almost a Zepho puzzle as far as like the way that she hid their temple and stuff. Like, I just thought that was cool.
Oh, by the way, screw you guys for playing Jedi Survivor without me. I haven't listened to that episode because I haven't played the game yet.
We
We'll play it.
yeah, play it. We don't
Play it,
talk
let
about
us
any
know.
major spoilers. Like we talk about a couple stuff that happens pretty early on in the game, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I'm only halfway through. I haven't even finished it myself.
It's so good. It's so good. I loved every second of it. Back to the episode, though. I really like the fight scene at the end because it starts off really slow. And I'm not going to lie, when I first saw it, it was kind of like slow motion. I was a little disappointed. I was like, oh, is the whole fight going to be like this? And then it like sped up. And it was just so good.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say, but yeah, I agree. It was a good fight scene, and also I agree with what Max said earlier. That guy's a total badass. Like, he's really cool. Yeah,
For sure. Ready for the next one?
let's get it.
This is episode 8, The Pit. This is the one where the Empire has forced a lot of people to dig a big hole to mine for Kyber, and then just leaves them there with no way of getting out.
Oh yeah,
This is,
I forgot about
think,
this one. It was sad.
one of the cruelest things the Empire has ever done. Like, not Alderaan levels of wiping out an entire planet in seconds, but it's up there.
Yeah, and also like how they wouldn't allow the people to even know about it or go outside of town to help or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, they not only didn't give them a way out, but actively kept people from helping them.
Yeah.
Which is, just incredibly cruel.
You know what it kind of reminded me of?
What?
In like a super weird way. Do you guys remember the John Henry cartoon that I don't know if you watched it watched it growing up? But like
I'll look it up. I can't remember it.
In school, they would show us the John Henry cartoon.
Yep.
I didn't know that the John Henry cartoon was about slavery until just recently. One of my friends who is black was like, yeah, you know that cartoon's like all about slavery and stuff. And I was like, no, we just watched it growing up in school.
Yeah, well, it would, for greater context, I mean, like, we watched that actually whenever we were kids, usually during units on American slavery in history class is when we watch it. Or during English class with like American folk tales. And for our people who didn't grow up in America...
Oh, is this the South African episode?
No.
Dang
No,
it.
I was just saying, as far as John Henry goes, I was just going to quickly explain. He is, in the folktale, he's an ex-slave who won his freedom, and he's working on the Continental Railroad, which spans all of the United States, and he can actually hit nails so quickly and build the railroad so quickly that actually a wealthy businessman comes, challenges him to a race, and he has like this big like railroad building machine. John Henry beats the machine and makes sure that him and all of his friends can have jobs, and he dies because it was such a great effort.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
then
he like
he's-
destroyed
but then
the
he's an
machine or
American
something,
hero.
right?
Yeah, he's an American hero
Yeah.
in the story. Yeah.
Yeah, did not know John Henry was about slavery.
Yeah. I mean, it's if you watch it, you should watch it again as an adult, because they actually like make it pretty clear that he was an ex-slave. Like they talk about it a lot.
Yeah, no. The last time I watched it, I was a child. And I was like, I love this. It's the coolest cartoon ever. Yeah,
and to be fair, like I think last time, I mean, like whenever we watched it for the first time, like we were pretty small. Like I think we were like, lower elementary, first, second grade, and honestly, like it's important that American kids learn about that. Don't get me wrong, but I think at 7, 8 years old, you also just can't really grasp it.
Right.
Dude, I can't concept the grasp of slavery at 7 years old.
Exactly.
My most important concept of the day is like, what's for lunch? Do you think I can grasp slavery, dude? Like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
No, heavy John Henry vibes for this episode, because like I think there's nobody else in the pit. Well, I mean, like everybody in the pit's like pretty much black, right? And the dude that does the spray paint is like super cool. Like, is he like? I think he was like leaving a story down there. Does it ever show what he was spray painting?
Yes, he does. There's an end credit scene where he shows it.
That's right. Yeah, it did have an end credit. This was the only episode that had an end credit scene.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. No, this was just a really powerful episode, and I think this was one that was trying to capture the cruelty of slavery, and like the fact, like I said, that the Empire just left these people to die. Like, oh, we got what we needed out of you, and you are worth nothing to us now, so we're not going to waste resources to get you out of this pit. Like, not even just leaving a ladder. Like, to the Empire, these people weren't even worth leaving a ladder so they could get out.
They were actually worth more dead.
Yeah, because then no one would know what happened.
Dude, I think if they showed kids this episode rather than like John Henry stuff, you'd probably understand like slavery and human life better, because the John Henry cartoon's kind of fun. Like, he beats this crazy train machine, and like this episode's kind of down. Like, they just leave all these people in a pit to die, and then you have this young black guy like go to the city and like scream for help, and nobody listens to him.
Yeah, he screams for help.
I was gonna say, and on that note, like John Henry, the reason is just because he's a hero. It's heroic.
Yeah, he's like this big, strong dude. Like, he seems like a guy that you'd like want to be.
Yeah, and he absolutely is. He's an American hero. His story is a legend. Absolutely. But yeah, I think I'm kind of with you, Mac. Like, this shows more of the misery, and more accurately like makes you understand the concept of that not only was there in the past, but there are human beings right now that are being treated like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And onto the guy that escapes, they kill him. They just toss him down the pit. Like,
that was wild, man.
How dare you tell people what we did to you, and then they kill him?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this was probably the most like emotionally powerful episode of this, probably the whole series, in my opinion.
Yeah, I will say that over the past few years, I have really enjoyed's the wrong word, but I have appreciated how much content we've gotten with the Empire being more realistic. Like, it's not just stormtroopers running around. It's an actual empire that has taken over. There's nothing you can do, and they are actively hurting people.
I mean, you can really see
the grittiness of that is good for understanding the overarching story.
You can see the basis of which the Empire is built on. The SS. Mm-hmm. And you can really see that with this. Like I said, if you could show this cartoon to kids and be like, hey, this is where the idea of this came around, is like, certain people don't like other people just because of their race, religion, creed, sexual orientation, whatever flavor of the rainbow you want to pick. This person doesn't like this person because of this.
And they are actively killing them.
Yeah, and they're actively hurting these people, enslaving these people, killing these people, whatever. And,
and it's horrible.
Yeah, and I think Tuck's absolutely right. Star Wars has kind of changed in that way and shown that original idea of George Lucas couldn't have done that in the original films. Like, he couldn't have just had stormtroopers burning people in pits or, you know, mass shootings. The most he could get away with was blowing up a planet.
Yeah.
Right.
Which isn't really that impactful.
Right. We never really get to see the people of all
70s, movie rating people to deal with,
Right.
So I think that's why he had to make those choices. But
And you're coming off the end of the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, he even talks about it in several interviews that was one of his inspirations is the Vietnam War for some of the themes in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to get too far into that right now, but
No, I'm only talking about the Vietnam War from here and on out.
Every single episode.
I'm going to find a way to tie this back to the Vietnam War. Just wait. I'll figure it out.
Let's see. We've got American slavery. We've got people in a pit dying. We've got genocide. What else? What other, happy topic on this episode can we cover?
I can do it. I'm here.
Yeah.
But yes, I don't know. This was just a really powerful episode, and I'm glad they made it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
think
glad-
this was a really positive step for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm glad we have
In
something like
understanding, yeah.
Visions where content creators can make something like this and get it out to a place where millions of people are going to see it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think also it just makes our whole world, and that's one thing that I guess my earlier point that I love that they chose different studios to do Vision Season 2 and some of the themes they explored and stuff this time around. It's one reason I really like it is because I think Visions is really doing a good job of making Star Wars a worldwide community and then also a serious community. Like, it's not just a, nerdy hobby. It's also something that has real themes that all of us can take home with us.
Yeah.
And use to learn lessons and treat each other better and love each other better.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about Star Wars
completely
is
agree.
that it teaches you these important lessons from history and what's going on currently in the world without shoving it down your throat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, in a fun, digestible way. It teaches you these lessons, yeah.
I mean, sometimes I wouldn't describe this episode as fun in any sort of way.
I wouldn't either. I'm just
Yeah.
talking about Star Wars in general.
Yeah, Star Wars
Yeah.
in general, for sure. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, then you get these shows like Visions where you get these real honest issues that happen and are still happening. You know what I mean? And it's it doesn't put it out overtly, but you can be like, oh, this is what they're trying to show. And it's an honest and true message, but it's not pushing an agenda.
Yeah.
And I think
I
that's the
agree.
cool thing about Star Wars, and it all stems back from George Lucas. You know what I mean? And the things that he took from history.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you know what?
I mean-
Actually, it is pushing an agenda, but it's pushing an agenda
In a positive way.
Yeah, let's be better people. Let's
I agree.
let's be a good neighbor. Stuff like that. I think
Mr.
because-
Rogers, man, my guy.
Hell yeah. I don't know. Star Wars has always been about facing the cruelties of this world. From the very first movie. But I don't think a lot of people realize that. A lot of people get caught up on, oh, we're in space and there's laser swords and spaceships and they can travel through hyperspace and the droids are cool and it is a cool setting, but it's always been about telling a deeper story.
Well, it's like
Absolutely.
the prequels. It's funny because I'm not a big politics guy. Mm-hmm. But, then you'll have people, I don't think any of us are really that into politics.
Yeah.
But, I mean, then you have people say they hate politics, but they love the prequel movies. The prequels are all about politics.
Right, and how
Yeah.
dangerous politics can be.
Yeah, and how
Yeah.
they can affect people and hurt people and help people and all of those themes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Man, that's crazy to think that all of this stems from Star Wars.
Yeah.
yeah,
For sure.
Yeah, this thing that is childish and stuff like that. It's cool that it's actually not, like, when you really take a deeper look.
Yeah.
It's not a kid's show. It's good for everybody. But with that in mind, I think we've probably hit every point we need to on this episode. Do you guys think that?
Oh yeah,
Two-
100%.
Two last
move on?
things. I really enjoy the animation, and I really love the moment at the very end where the little
Gets her
girl is
crystal.
they're being rescued, and she's got just a basic kyber crystal, and then it starts to glow blue. I really like that moment.
I thought it was cool too. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The last one is Au's song.
I gotta be 100% honest. I got like 3 minutes into this and did not finish it. I meant
Really?
to, and then I just didn't. So this is all gonna be new to me.
Which
Cool.
actually, Mac, this will be a surprise for you, but this is the South African episode.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the one. This culture is based around mining these red kyber crystals that had been corrupted by the Sith. Like their planet is covered in them. They mine them and give them to Jedi. And for some reason, this girl's voice sets the crystals off. And I loved this episode. Loved this episode. It was light. It was fun. The vibes were good.
Claymation again, baby.
Claymation again. Like I said, I was really happy that we got so much claymation this time around. But the Jedi was really cool. I love the fact that Au is force sensitive, and that's why her voice is, connecting with the crystals. I really love the whole story of the fact that, like, the father was never letting her finish purifying the crystals. Like, she'd speak and the crystals would start to react, and he'd make her shut up, which then made them even more violently react. So she was never allowed to talk. But then when she was just fully allowed to sing, it completely purified the crystals around them. Just so cool. I really like the story of this one.
Yeah,
I'll have
and
to finish it.
You should.
And I like. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, it's not a very it's the complete opposite of the episode before. It's not serious at all. It's just good fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. And also, I love how it plays into the new explanation for dark side crystals and stuff like that, like the bleeding and then also the purifying of crystals. Like, it's really like one of the first times we actually get to see what that might look like, bleeding and purifying a crystal.
Yeah, I agree. The style was really cool. I loved at the end where the dad's like, you're the first, when she's leaving to go be trained as a Jedi, he tells her, you're the first of our people to journey into the stars. And just, you could see just how proud of her he was. I don't know. It just really, really hit home that message of family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else on this episode?
I have to finish it, so.
Yeah, please do. It's really good.
Yep.
My boy Tech?
Not really. I mean, I love the main theme of crystal redemption and that kind of stuff, and then also that it was claymation. I thought the art was beautiful. I really enjoyed it. But also too, I will say, like, as far as what Elijah was talking about earlier, that it's a calmer episode. That's kind of also why I feel like there's not just a whole lot to say, because it's meant to, after the stress and the deepness of the previous episode, this one's kind of more meant to be bright and colorful and happy and kind of calm us down before the season ends.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was placed very well. I could see myself like having a sad day and just putting this on just to cheer myself up a little bit.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was a happy one.
Well, I'm so sorry. I think this is something. I got to go back to the pit for a minute. It's something
Okay.
I think we also need to talk about because we talked about the Empire and the cruelty of man, but something else this episode really shows is at the ending that the people of the city go and save the people in the pit.
Yeah,
They stand
there's
up
also
to
that hope.
They stand up to the cruelty of the Empire, and I think that's really important to show in this episode as well, because there are cruel people, but there are also good people that want to help. And I don't know, I just, as soon as we moved on to Ao's song, I was like, oh no, we didn't talk about the actual good ending of this episode.
Yeah. And also, I would say, like, based on this episode, that as good people, we have a responsibility to help.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's all about what you do with that.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, we don't have to dive deep into it. I just, like, my brain thought of it, and I was like, dang it, I moved on too quickly.
Yeah.
But no, Ao's song, really good. You definitely should finish it, Mac.
So I gotta ask, season 1 or season 2, boys?
Season 2, for sure.
Honestly, I've been season 2 for me.
Yeah. Mac? Still season 1?
I think I'm still season 1 just because of those 3 episodes, man. I'll go back and watch those 3, like, still.
Yeah.
And they're just, I don't know, man. The season opener just, so good. I love it. It's black and white, but it's so sick. I mean, it's pure Kurosawa. It's just so good. Yeah. And then the other 2 episodes I mentioned, like, those are just, oh man, that's good Star Wars for me. Not that season 2 is not good Star Wars. It was just, I don't know, maybe in season 3, whatever studios they pick for season 3, maybe they just let them run wild like they did in season 1.
Yeah.
Oh, and also the episode in season 1 about the Jedi.
The Ninth Jedi?
Yes, the Ninth Jedi. That one. So good, where he's just surrounded by Sith. So good.
I think the big difference between this season and the first season is season 1 was fantastic, but it was very focused on action and the, like, fighting of Star Wars. And season 2 was more focused on the, like, family aspect of Star Wars. And both are valid. Both are very important parts of Star Wars, but different.
Yeah, no, I think, you're completely right. Season 1 was, I guess, about the action of the Force.
I think that,
like, that aspect of the Force, of the like, reactiveness of who you can be and, like, how you can affect everything. And season 2 was more of, like, the realization of, well, I guess if you could sum up season 1 and season 2, season 1 is the action, season 2 is the balance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I'm looking through. I'm pretty sure there was a fight in every episode of season 1. Even in Tatooine Rhapsody, they're, like, trying to escape from Boba Fett, which I don't know if it's necessarily a fight, but it's still an action sequence. And we don't necessarily get that. Like, with Ao's song, they're just, like, chilling on this planet, mining crystals.
No, the fights in all of season 2 were very short.
Yeah. I think in a watch through, I might mix up. Like, I might watch some of season 1, then watch some of season 2. I don't know if I'd watch season 1, then 2. Also, I think a lot of these episodes, of course, it's not canon, but there are a lot of these episodes I think I would throw into a canon watch through, specifically for the dark times, like the Spy Dancer and the Pit, and In the Stars, just to, like I said, I think they do a really good job of showing the Empire's cruelty, and I think that's something we need in a full watch through.
Yeah,
just to
I
understand
agree.
a little better.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, boys, anything else?
Has anybody emailed us ever?
we have gotten listener questions, just not in a long time.
Yeah,
I did check.
do we have any recently? Has anybody checked?
No one's. I have checked. No one's emailed us yet. But you know what, listener? You could be the change. You could be the difference.
Be the change you want to see in the world. What did Michael Jackson say?
I think you pretty much said it.
I think so.
Be the change you want to see in the world. That's the quote.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. I
Anyway.
don't know. It's at the start of Lego Batman.
If you have any Star Wars related questions, you can email us at animalsquadron@gmail.com. Again, that's animalsquadron@gmail.com. That email is written out in the description. I think the question of the week, if you're on Spotify, we'll just be asking about Visions, what you thought. If you're listening somewhere else and you want to leave us a review, that would be greatly appreciated. It really helps out our podcast. And yeah, we want you to be a part of this conversation. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Animal Squadron. For the Animal Squadron, this has been Mother Goose.
And I'm back. I'm not fat. I went to the gym. I did curls. I'm only doing this impersonation because Tucker hated it so much in the one episode, and I listened to it before we got on today, so I decided to do it again. HouseDog.
This is Lowtech Tuck still suffering through it. Adios.
See everybody.
That hurts. That hurts.